Hey everyone, this is Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today we're going to be discussing how to break through the 20K a month revenue plateau with profitable ad spend. We're going to talk about the key indicators a business might be approaching a revenue plateau, the optimization of ad creative and messaging in achieving higher revenue targets, and what are the metrics that you should be looking at. Okay, welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
All right, everybody. Like I said, we're going to be discussing how to break through the 20K per month revenue plateau with profitable ad spend. Our guest co-owns Digital Marketers 2022 Agency of the Year, Socialite, and co-founded Merchant Master. And I believe that's with one of our buddies, Scott Cunningham. He taught e-commerce strategies. He's taught e-commerce strategies on industry-leading stages, podcasts, and webinars. He also teaches a course on e-commerce sales and marketing at University of Alberta. So please welcome, just in a moment, Simon Trafford. Okay, but before we do that, let's have a word from our sponsor, Seller Basics. Hey, Amazon sellers, ever faced with account suspensions, ASIN hiccups, or IP headaches? Introducing Seller Basics, your Amazon accounts guardian, which is $99 per month, or code NORM, $89 per month. Seller Basics offers a dedicated team to shield your business from these challenges. Plus, the membership offers free legal consultations from seasoned e-commerce attorneys. And there's no long-term contracts, and you can cancel with just a month's notice. View Seller Basics as your Amazon account's health plan, and you can check out Seller Basics at sellerbasics.com. Now for the disclaimers. Seller Basics is not an insurer or law firm. Consultations come from independent firms. Results may vary. Membership is needed before events landing to claims and terms apply. All right, now let's go back to the boy blunder.
I wonder if you could do that ad read with your eyes closed now.
I probably could. Yeah, there we go.
That'll be fun to do. How's it going?
It's going good. What about you?
Good. I'm trying to get used to looking up here because I have a different setup. I'm used to looking up my
You're
computer,
looking up to me? Is that what you're saying?
in a way, in a very literal way.
We're almost ready to go to BDSS. So we'll be taking off on Friday to head over to Hawaii.
That's right. We've been recording lots of episodes to keep you beardos busy while we're away. So they are going to be pre-recorded episodes. We're not going to be able to get up at 6 a.m. in the mornings to record.
Oh, you will.
Live. Or we're debating that still. We'll see. But anyways, I want to say a quick hello to DripFit. We got Cool Hand 99 here and Jessica. Good to see everyone. Welcome to the show. And looking forward to today's episode.
Now, tomorrow, what's happening tomorrow? Do you know?
Tomorrow? What is happening tomorrow?
Get with the program.
Oh, the Marketing Misfits, of course.
Yes. So the Marketing Misfits, just in case you haven't heard, new podcast that Kevin King and I are doing. We've got 2 episodes out there, plus the AI webinar we had just a week or so ago. The third one is coming out tomorrow. So that'll be an interesting one. I think we got a total of 10 so far recorded, and we're going to be doing a bunch once we get back from Hawaii. But let us know what you think about that. Also, the newsletter came out. I haven't read it yet, but I know the story that's in it. So let me know what you think of that. It's a different one.
It's a pretty crazy story,
and there's so much more that goes on to that story.
Yeah, so I'll be posting the link to that for anyone that hasn't seen it. But make sure you check your emails for it. It will be in your inbox. It should be in your inbox, but always check the spam too, just in case it slipped through there.
Yeah, and I'll on Wednesday I'll give you another quick story that's related to that one, which is pretty funny. Okay, and by the way, if you haven't seen the Schmengies, look it up on YouTube, and you'll see who I was talking about in the newsletter. So
I did link to one of the YouTube clips in the newsletter too. Just
did you?
reference, so people could understand it if they haven't seen it.
Oh my God, it was so funny. I think it's still relevant. Okay, so let's get into this. Questions and comments over in the comments section, and you can sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, and enjoy the show. Welcome, Simon.
How's it going, Norm?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man.
Now, I'm just curious because
Sure.
you're Canadian.
Yes.
You're very much up north, but did you ever hear of? I know you're too young for when the show was on, but Second City?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With the Schmenke brothers?
I can't say it's like one of those, like, I know exactly the character.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, yeah, like
They were the polka guys, right? Like the
Okay,
polka
John
rock
Candy.
stars.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, it's in the newsletter. It's funny. I think it's funny anyways. So how you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, no, it's kind of came from a life of comedy. I don't know if you know that, but when I graduated university with an English degree in creative writing, not a ton of jobs, so I ended up managing comedy clubs for the first part of my career, which is actually how I got into Facebook ads, because I had to fill those seats 5 nights a week.
Oh, wow. Oh, I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. So
maybe you could have done a Second City up in Edmonton. There you go.
Yeah.
You and Scott. All right, let's talk about some other comedy. And that's, maybe it's the other side of comedy. It's when things aren't working and you don't know how to increase your sales. So the comedy is, very dramatic, trying to increase your sales sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like this $20,000 per month plateau that I titled this podcast as is, I don't know, it's one of these things where a lot of people hit it early on in their, e-commerce adventure. And I have this client specifically that I'm doing a bit of a case study on him. So I thought I'd dry run some material on you guys. And yeah, like, this guy, he sells a motorcycle light product, really good product. He lives in Calgary, Alberta, so he's Canadian as well. And when he came to me, I would, he's one of these guys where I'd normally put them into Merchant Mastery, which is our coaching and mentoring program, because he wasn't really doing much in terms of marketing, but he had this, this amazing product, and he was reaching some decent sales, doing nothing right. Like this guy, he's on Shopify. I know you guys are quite Amazon heavy, but this guy's on Shopify. MailChimp, which is a e-newsletter platform that we would never use for posting on social media like a madman, just like 10 posts a day, and doing all these things and putting so much energy out there, but like just couldn't break through any significant numbers. And I mean, he was profitable, like making probably $5,000 a month in profit, which is okay, right? So that's when he met me. And like I said, normally I'd push him away, but I saw this product and I saw how great it was. And I've worked with motorcycle parts before, and they're just like amazing, like high ticket items, good margins, like everything about it. Like people are passionate about motorcycling, so they're going to spend their money on it. So I was finally like, all right, man, I'll take you on at our agency, which, like I said, he would be almost too small for us to normally do. And, like the last thing I want to do is have, people coming onto our agency and we just bleed them dry because we're big and expensive and dump ridiculous money into ads. But I saw the twinkle in this guy's eye, and, I believed in his product. So we took him on, and yeah, like the first month we lit up Facebook ads. Like in the past, he was maybe running like a 200 a month budget. And I think it's important here to say that like this guy, you know, it's a mindset that you see with, you know, merchants at this level where money is like he's never spent more than $1,000 a month on his marketing budget ever. So like for me to say, yeah, you're gonna hire this agency for like $5,000 a month, plus we're talking about ad spend numbers and like, you know, I want to get you up to $1,000 a day as fast as possible. This guy's head was spinning, and he was like laughed me off the call. Like he literally signed the agreement, called me immediately, and was like, holy shit, dude, like this doesn't include ad spend. It's like, no, it doesn't. That's our fee. So he was rocked. And I'm like, I don't know. His name's David. I'm like, David, you can take a leap. Like I said, in my experience, I see products like yours and they work. And, you know, we can probably take you to the next level here. Okay. Following me so far?
Yep, so far.
Okay. So we lit up some meta ads. First thing we did, I mean, I think we got his email stuff in line, got him on Klaviyo, got that stuff sorted. So he was kind of, you know, get the flows happening and get him in a bit of a routine for sending campaign newsletters. And that first month on Meta, he was, you know, again, like not a huge spend. I think we spent like $2,500, and he was doing like +6 ROASs. So immediately this thing's working, right? We're like, okay, we got something great here. And I'm like, David, you happy? You know, and he's like, well, I mean, like we're moving more product than we ever have, but at the end of the month, I have no money in my bank. And I'm like, that's too bad. And it's, you know, this is a kind of a normal thing. So I'm just like, okay, well, he's like, and I want to pull the plug. I don't want to do this anymore. It's scary. It's too much money. And for me to end up at the end of the month with like, I pay all my bills and have nothing left. Like before I was making $5,000 a month, easy, right? Profit. And so he wanted to leave and he wanted to get out. These are numbers that he's not used to. And there's still, again, like not huge spends. Like I just side note, like most of our clients, like, you know, that $1,000 a day mark I mentioned is kind of the first place we want to get. Mm-hmm. We have doing $10,000 a day in spend. So this guy's really, you know, small, but again, he's, you know, representative of a level of merchant that I see a lot of that, you know, you got to break through that mindset, to break through that, you know, revenue level, that spend level is hinges on what we did next. So again, I love this guy. This guy's a great guy. He means well. He's nothing but good things going on. His product's amazing. So I said, David, how about this? Let's make a bet. And he was interested in making a bet. And I said, how about we take $1,000 off of our agency fee for the next month if you let me double your ad budget. So go from $2,500 to $5,000. And I think my team of media buyers they're savages like this. I think they probably spent like 6 or 7, and he didn't like that until he realized that there was, you know, money in his bank at the end. So what happened is we just started ramping like vertically. So we were adding budget to individual campaigns, you know, ad sets, as well as like lighting up more ads, you know, horizontally scaling. And so, yeah, we more than doubled his budget. And at the end of that month, he was like, I think he made like $15,000 in profit, and he did like $60,000 in revenue, because when you scale properly, that performance can maintain, especially at this level, right? It's not like you just expect to go down from a 6 ROAS to a 2. Mm-hmm. I think we went from like a 6 to like a 5. And his MER dipped a little bit, but the key here to getting over that hump is, first of all, you know, the fallacy that like more spend equals worse performance. That's number one. That, you know, especially when you're not used to that kind of spend, it's very easy to get scared and be like, no way. I'm happy here. $2,500 a month. It's not bad. I'm comfortable with that. But again, you have to get over this volume hump, because you're not going to make profit and cover your overhead in a business like his, especially unless you're doing more volume at, you know, a decent performance. So we won the bet. He pays us our full our full fees again. And yeah, like I said, he went from doing 20K a month to over 60 within like a 60-day period. So pretty awesome.
Yeah. You take a look at that in any business or product or service. They have these plateaus that come up. Some are quite small, some are much higher, and I've seen it on almost every occasion. Your product, that growth, you just can't do anymore without, I call it, this is from a book from Jeffrey Archer. I refer to it a lot, called Crossing the Chasm. You have to get across that, or you're just going to plateau. And actually, it's a bell curve. It's not even a plateau. It'll plateau for a few months, and then it just drops significantly.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see this on Amazon all the time, where if you can't cross that chasm, you're going to plateau. Competitors, especially if it's a pretty good product, will come in. Competition will start to eat at you, and you'll definitely drop. Now you got to figure out, how am I going to get more attention onto my product? And that is, do I throw more into PPC? Do I go on to Shopify? Do I go into other markets? But the biggest problem, and this guy comes to you very cautious, is, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but 9 out of 10 people, 9 out of 10 agencies that will come up to me are going to fail. And the reason why they're going to fail is because they give you false expectations. And I've seen this so many times, where, especially with Facebook ads, they'll come up and they'll give you a low, really low, not even what you're talking about, but a really low budget, like a few $100s a month. And all of a sudden it fails and you're out. Or they give you too high of a budget per month. They try it for a couple of months. The waters aren't tested and you fail. Or you go to some SEO guy, or you go to some social media guy, and they just promise, like, especially influencer networks nowadays, they promise the world, and then you get very little back, on with certain platforms. So I think that's a really big worry that people have to address. Like, what are some questions? How do you even know that the person's legit?
Oh, totally. I mean, okay, so Norm, this is literally exactly the reason we created Merchant Mastery, which is our coaching and mentor program. And the reason, like you said, I was sick of failing. You have people come to you. Like, David's a bit of a different example, because I did recognize, like, he had greatness within him. But someone, maybe they have like a little jewelry boutique or something that, running out of their basement, not doing much. And as an agency, it's so tempting to be like, yeah, we'll take you on. Your products look good. Everything looks good. Like, we'll take your money because we want clients, and we want, ultimately, every agency, they mean well. Even if they promise things and their expectations are too high, they really want, their client to win. However, it's just, at that lower level where you're trying to take that leap into the big leagues and it doesn't work. Yes, you can blame the agency, and it may be their fault or maybe not be their fault. Maybe they just needed more time, which is the classic agency, come back and just give us more time. We need more testing. And that's
give me 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months. Give me. We just need 2 more months. We just need to get into Q4 and it'll all change.
Yeah.
So I hate having clients that fail, and I hate having my team members on clients that are struggles. So, and it's at that level where you kind of need to break that first plateau in order to even be ready to hire an agency. And we found the best way to do that is do it yourself. Figure it out yourself. Like, dig in deep on your product, your brand, your website, your emails. Figure out how all that stuff works and how it works best for your brand before you start dumping massive amounts of, like, remortgaging your house to hire an agency, because it probably won't end well. And that's literally what we do at Merchant Mastery. Is we just, we have clients that do millions of dollars a month in sales. We teach those strategies to people who are doing under $10,000, under $20,000 a month in sales.
And we don't typically talk about apps or courses during the podcast, at the end, person gives their app or whatever.
Mhm.
But merchant mastery. So I've talked to Scott. Scott Cunningham's been on here a few times. He's your partner.
Yep.
And what he's told me about the course and the support that you guys give, and it's a step up, right? So you have to achieve a certain level, and then you go to the next level, and then you go to the next level. And it really is a very unique course. So if any of you have, and I don't have an affiliate, okay, so this is sort of an affiliate free zone. I tell you when I like something, and you can check it out if you want, but check out Merchant Mastery. It is a very unique course, and it's made to win. And a lot of courses that you go to, you'll pay for, you log on once, and that's it. With this course, you're held accountable. So you've got to, make these steps. So that's all I'm going to say. We could talk about it maybe at the end. But the other thing about founders, I'm going to be talking about services, is the founders. The founders, and I could give you 1,000 different examples of this. They're awesome. They're great people. And they hire people, but like most entrepreneurs, they're really crappy trainers, and they don't have the SOPs in place. So the people that all of a sudden start coming on, they're kind of over the shoulder, understanding what the founder has done, but you're all of a sudden delegated to somebody who's not that really great person that was doing certain ads or creative or photography or whatever it is. And that's a reason too why some people just don't get it when they go to agencies. And if you can give the proof and a case study, that's something else too. Like, just to be able to, when I go to somebody and I'm at 50 grand a month and I want to get over that hump, I need somebody who's been at 50 grand a month, the trainer who is at, or the trainee who's doing some cases at $50,000 a month. I don't want him coming back to me and I am his training platform.
Yeah, I mean,
that sucks.
Very much. If you think agencies have a bad reputation out there right now, I think someone just commented that, which they so much do. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was COVID, but all of a sudden, like, everyone and their grandma decided that they were going to start an agency despite never really doing anything.
Try being an Amazon consultant.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, if you think those have bad reputations, then look at courses in the world and how many people have built crappy courses, and those have the worst reputation by far. But yeah, no, I'm not here to pitch at all. Just went to
but I wanted to let people know about this. All right, so I bitched enough about this. It is a pet peeve there, Simon. But let's get back to getting over the hump. So you talked to this David. He's completely satisfied now. So there's a whole bunch, and Simon mentioned about, small businesses. These types of people are the backbone of the economy. There's hundreds of thousands of people in that predicament, right? What do they do? So you said, get in, learn, train yourself, but how do you get over the hump now?
Yeah, and it's product is everything. I'm sure you guys know this, right? If you don't have a good product that people want, it's no fancy marketing is going to save you, and especially hiring an agency or hiring anyone. But like with David here, like, he has a really good product that I think he designed himself, like builds it in Calgary. I think he orders parts from around the world, but assembles it all there. So it's this really, really amazing product. And then, just if you can see some success, at lower levels, if you're like, okay, this is, product market fit. You're talking about, founders earlier. We have a few different versions of product market fit. There's also merchant market fit, which means, like, a good founder, a good entrepreneur, you got to have, the backbone and the grit to be like, okay, I'm not used to throwing around this kind of dough, but like, the evidence here is showing me that, like, yeah, we have a 6 ROAS on a, pretty small spend. we got to go for it. Now is the time to go for it. And I would never do this again. I've never done it, but this bet where I'm reducing our fees to show him the light. And, he went for it because of that. And I don't think he was ready. So he kind of forced his hand into it. And the last time I talked to him, I actually interviewed him for this little case study I'm putting together. I'll make sure you guys get that when it's ready. But he was in his vehicle on a Zoom call with me, driving around to pick up parts because he'd sold out of everything, and we had to slow down everything because he can't keep up with the orders. So it really is. It's like conquering a couple things. Number one is like really understanding, again, that fallacy that like spending more if you're successful doesn't mean you're going to get weaker returns. It doesn't mean performance needs to suffer. And you just need to know the strategies in order to get that spend up, because the second thing that you got to get over to is that this ad spend, when you figured out how to, run it profitably, and Facebook has been an absolute nightmare in the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I'm sure you guys all know things are still working a lot for us. But when you figure out that, this can work, you have to understand that ad spend is no longer an expense. It's an investment, and it's actually an investment that is much more guaranteed return than, say, if you were to go all in on some meme stock or even the stock market. Like if you see early results like that, you can very confidently, and you should very confidently be able to say, if I 10x my budget this month, I can math it out and say my performance shouldn't drop too much, and it's time to go for it.
I guess probably one of the tougher things for an entrepreneur to do, especially if it's your first time, it's that investment. Because if you say $5,000 or $10,000, even when you've proven it, like you did the first and second month to Dave, the person you were just talking about, but just saying, all right, but be prepared for $1,000 a day. It's like, that's my life savings. I'll be wiped out if it doesn't work. And it's that hesitation, and it's scary. It's scary if you don't know what's going to happen to your life savings.
Yeah. I mean, like that's going into it being like $1,000 a day if I get zero back, right? That's scary. But if it's, the other scary thing is when Facebook completely malfunctions, which it did recently for a ton of brands out there. When you're at that level of $1,000 a day spend and all of a sudden things fall off a cliff, that's also scary. But like, on a normal day, and when we see results like we did with David here initially, it's like, you got it.
Yeah.
If you're a first time through this, it's going to be crazy scary. But like, when you've seen it a bunch of times, it becomes like, oh man, we got this. It's time to go. Time to put our foot on the gas.
I remember a time where I did it was about 20 grand over a week coming into a holiday. I don't know if it was Prime Day or not. No, it couldn't have been, because it was only a Shopify site. It was a WooCommerce site.
Okay.
It crashed.
Oh God.
It crashed.
I was going to say Shopify is not normally bad for that. WooCommerce.
No, WooCommerce. It crashed. And it was, oh my God, what do? We lost anything moving up to it, but we didn't get any sales. Or if we did, it was late sales. And we didn't have much of a list because it was early on in the brand's name. But okay, look, I've got to do a quick shout out to Colin Campbell and Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. Kels, if you could, are you listening, Kels? There we go. All right. So Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. If you're going to BDSS, you're going to meet Colin Campbell, and he's going to be talking about something along the entrepreneurial journey. But that's all that this book is about. It's about your journey, whether you're at the start, scale, exit, or repeat side of it. What he does is he breaks it down into sections, 4 different sections per module, and then subsections into that. It's a great business reference guide. And it's not a guide. It's just an awesome book. And there's over 200 different interviews with Vern Harnish, Joe Foster, the founder of Reebok, and a bunch of other people. Plus, there's all sorts of illustrations and guides within the book. So check it out. It's Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. It was a #1 bestseller. This is through Forbes, around 15 different categories over its launch. And as of last week, it was #2 in small business. So, and that's in the US. So check that out. It's on Amazon. It's on Audible. And if you buy it, let us know what you think of it. Also, we can go back to this. So you can bring back Simon now. Oh, no, hold it. Yes, bring back Simon. We have something, and there's a lot of people listening right now. If you're not new to the podcast, or if you're new to the podcast, we have something very unique at the top of the hour, and that's called Wheel of Kelsey. And that's where we provide a giveaway every podcast. And to enter, you have to do #Wheel of Kelsey, or you tag 2 people, you get a second entry. And Simon, what do we got today?
You get a little more of me, actually.
There you go.
Yeah,
So
if that's worth anything, but
but you got an hour-long consultation, is that correct?
that is correct. And yeah, like if you're an like I'll just be straightforward, blunt here. Like we definitely specialize in e-com on the Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce kind of stuff. Not as heavy on Amazon. So if you're in that space, like I could probably provide some pretty good insights onto where you need to go next.
All right. And it's interesting. I saw Marsha. So Marsha Reese was in the comments just a second ago. She's buried now. Let's see. Where is she? There. Nope. There she is. Okay. I'm just reading the comment again. So Marsha, a lot of people might see her on the podcast making comments, and she's probably turning red right now because I think she knows where I'm going. But she's had over $1 billion in sales. And Marsha was the inventor of Sidewalk Chalk. She was also the inventor of the gel wrist wrap for your laptop. And she had the North American rights, I believe, to Power Rangers. So she knows a little bit about sales. Be interesting to get her take on this too, because, there's certain platforms. When you got to Sidewalk Chalk, was it a neighborhood thing for the kids? Then, how did you spread it out to the region? And then to the, to the state, and then national? How did it get picked up? And no matter where you are, whether you have $1 million in sales or $1 billion in sales, you always hit that plateau. So I just wanted to shout out to Marsha, because I know that she, even with those sales, came across this as well. Now let's go back to this and let's talk about the creative or the tools you need to get over the hump.
Well, yeah, you need creative is an interesting, fickle kind of alley to go down. So you basically, and this is like the worst answer of all time, but you need stuff that works. And I'll expand on that, because what I mean is that it doesn't have to be high production. You don't have to spend a ton. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be UGC. It's not necessarily any one thing that every brand this works for, For example, we have a little salad dressing company that's out of Oklahoma, and I actually use them as a case study in one of our trainings.
I know who you're talking about.
Do you? Reed's Dressing. Yeah. So when they came to us, they were doing very little, almost nothing. So they're a perfect merchant mastery case study, $2,000 a month in sales. They were going to markets, and I personally created their ads and used their creative, and I used what they had. And basically the way I got that to just blow up was told their story in the copy, maybe a 200 or 300 word little story about Leslie's father, who invented this salad dressing in a steakhouse in Texas in 1971, gone to farmers markets and, trade shows ever since, and then ended up dying of COVID. So the company got passed down, told the story, made it a little tear jerker. And literally the creative there was a still static image of Leslie and her husband with holding their grandkids at a trade show with hardly even the salad dressing in the image. And that was it. And that ad probably sold, 3,000 bottles of Reed's salad dressing. So I think the big takeaway here is, there's always a buzz around a new form of content or a new format of ad or, Advantage Plus, type of campaigns, all that stuff. It really requires you to try things and figure out what works for your brand. And there's no, magic bullet that this piece of UGC is going to work for every single company. You got to dig.
You got to dig. All right. Great advice. Now let's talk about some of the metrics you should be using.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of, these questions are loose, Norm. So
I know. They're open. They're very open-ended.
Good. I know I had Courtney submit them, but yeah. So ROAS is the classic, right? That everyone wants to look at, but I don't know if you guys talk about MER, marketing efficiency ratio. So it's the big numbers. Marketing efficiency ratio is an easy one. It's just your revenue divided by your ad spend, basically. So it kind of gives you a real wide picture of the health of your business. And we really like to focus on that because it's not just ROAS on, a native platform at the end of the day that's going to win this for you. Sure, it's important to look at, through a magnifying glass, but the big thing, going back to David and his motorcycle parts, our ROAS did drop, but his MER maintained. So the overall health of the business maintained. And the biggest part of that, and Norm, you mentioned this earlier with the brand, the WooCommerce that crashed and they didn't have that big of a list, is email marketing is, everything. Mm-hmm. And what I find is a lot of, more so in the drop shipping route or the characters that like to go from 0 to $1 million a month in 14 days or less is, it's all on ads. It's all on the ads. But really, to grow your brand and to grow a healthy brand, your email list is what's going to drive the profitability for you. So in David's case, we set up his Klaviyo. He doesn't have the hugest list, but he was on MailChimp before, so that's not even reporting properly. It's hard to get a good idea of how impactful the email marketing is doing, but he did just over $15,000 in email revenue that first month, where we were kind of low scale, not doing much, just dipping our toes in. That's really good. So 15,000 out of 36,000. The second month, when we started to put our foot on the pedal, yes, we got more revenue from our ad spend, but where the real profitability came in was his emails. And that went from, like I said, 16,000 to over $25,000 came in through his email account in the second month.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's it's the whole the whole is greater than the sum of its parts in every aspect of this kind of business.
I'm just going to go back and talk about. I don't measure ROAS as that main rule of thumb because so many things could come in to affect it. But I did have a client once who ended up over Prime Day. So, and I thought it'd be over the top with this, and they're probably listening right now, but 25 times ROAS.
Ooh.
Okay. And the amount of product that moved was in the six figures, 25 times ROAS. And then they said they didn't want to advertise anymore. They wanted to bring it down because they thought that their product was well known and that it was a waste. Well, guess what happened? Now, this is different than the podcast we had just the other day, where you're going to hear, or if you heard, somebody was talking about if you are sharing keywords and you're number one and you want brand recognition, that's one thing. But if you don't, you're paying for somebody that's going to hit the sponsored ad instead of the organic. This is completely different. This is somebody that just thought their brand was that popular now that they could just turn it off, and they lost big time, or like huge. And that was, oh, by the way, that was DPS or DSP. So that was a killer. But and I've also seen this where they could easily get over the hump, where somebody had, I think it was 280, but 180,000 emails that they've never, ever touched.
Oh,
And they were against it because they don't like emails when they receive it.
yeah. I've heard that so many times, and to have that many, that's insane. You just want to grab some of these people by their shoulders and be like, do you know what you're sitting on? Do you know what you have here?
Yeah. As what's that commercial? You're sitting on a gold mine. But it's
exactly,
so you got to go out there and do things. For me, I call it blitz advertising. You've got to be a little bit out of your comfort zone. Give it to a good quality. This is where I don't do it myself, but email marketing, creating the funnels, getting people that are using services that could get you extra traffic. In fact, even something like sweepstakes marketing now is very broad. But to get a list and get a list started, sweepstakes is a great way to get going. Get 5,000 people in natural products, or whatever it is. There's sweepstakes in everything. So to use something like that to get the ball rolling, to get over the hump,
it's sometimes it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Like we love giveaways because you can grow that list real quick. The issue that arises with that, giveaways or like enter to win or is it's people that want free stuff.
Yeah, right? That's true.
So one of the best ways, and one of the ways that we, this is our methodology. And if you've talked to Scott for more than 5 seconds, this guy will talk about this too. Scott, my partner. And we use, a methodology that's the promo spike. So we have at least 4 per year, that like every quarter, we try to make every quarter a Q4. So of course, Q4 is going to be insane no matter what. Mm-hmm. So we, kind of interchange product drops with promo spikes, with promotions or events. And when people opt into your email list, whether they purchase that day or not, and the incentive to opt in is transactional, or, like discount or buy something, get something, if they're opting in for those kind of things, their intent is to purchase, right? As opposed to like enter to win something free over here, or
right.
even like a lead magnet where it's like, give us your email and we'll send you our, 5 steps for better health. That's someone who wants free stuff, right? But when they say, yeah, I'm signing up because I want 20% off on your sale next week, that's showing massive intent to purchase. So those leads can be, tend to be way more valuable. But you're bang on if you want to just grow a list massively.
Yeah.
Light up some. Mm-hmm.
Or even a pre-holiday sale. So you might get, you use fourth quarter. So it could be Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It could be over the holidays, but offering 2 weeks in advance, just so you can make sure that your sales don't drop and they do plateau. Just do a 5% on top of what you're going to be doing for a Black Friday giveaway, or Black Friday sale.
Yeah.
But there's so many different things. Like we're getting close to running out of time and going over to the questions, but is there anything else that we should cover about this topic?
Well, I guess to recap, it's numbers and it's hard to talk, about these things without getting too complex. But yeah, like, if you see initial performance and you get a good foothold with lower spends, take the leap. go for it, especially if it's that time of year that's good for you. David, in the spring here with motorcycle parts, people are starting to ride again. Now is the time to go after it. So he did. Never do that without your email to support the back end. Don't let that profitability slide through your fingers by just focusing only on ad accounts and, hoping for a good ROAS. And then, finally, just, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So at Socialite, we're very specific with what we offer in terms of our services. Like we don't even do creative. We don't do SEO. We don't do social media posting. We only do the things that move the needle. And in terms of revenue and sales, and those are offer strategy, paid ads on some level, whether it's Meta, Google, TikTok, Snapchat, Pinterest, on and on, and then email and SMS marketing. And those are the core fundamentals that you need to, if you're seeing success on those, you have the ability to grow.
And this isn't with you, but with Scott, he's got, I think one of our podcasts is about a method, a strategy that you use, which I've just put under my belt. And that's the TBIF marketing strategy. If you haven't heard that, if you want, it's incredible what this can do, especially now with the ChatGPT and how you can program it and get these prompts that will make a huge difference in everything that you do. Everything that you do relates back to TBIF. And so check that out. Kels, I'm not sure if you can post that in here. That probably was about 1.5 years ago. But okay, let's go over to some questions.
All right. So first question, I think we should start with Simon here. Can you talk about how your website has to be converting before sending more traffic from ads?
Yeah, I have such a strange relationship with conversion rate optimization. And what Norm was talking about there, TBIF, that's the core fundamental of how to get people to convert on your website, get people to convert on your ads, get people to convert from your emails. And what that stands for is T is transactional, right? So like I said, 20% off, that's an attribute that's going to incentivize someone to purchase. Free shipping, things like that, right? Buy one, get one. Anything money related would be a transactional attribute. B stands for brand, which is a huge one because this is your story, your cause, your why. And if you can tell that story in a way that resonates with people enough for them to be like, you know what, I need this product, but I'm buying it from this guy because I love what he stands for. That's a really good customer. And if you can get people to purchase because of that, they're going to be there for you for a long time. I stands for influence attributes, which would be reviews, testimonials, UGC, things like that. Anywhere where anyone else that's not you is talking about how great you are, that is an attribute that is going to incentivize someone to purchase. And finally, function, which is what does your product do? In David's case, he sells motorcycle lights that light up so you don't get hit by a semi riding in the rain at 2 a.m. on the Coca-Cola. And yes, your webs, and when you put those things into a website or a product page or a home page or a landing page, those are the biggest, pieces that will lead to conversion rate increasing. So yes, your website has to convert, but until you're doing significant numbers, the old philosophies of like, make your add to cart button green. That's not going to move the needle hugely for you. So focus on, TBIFing your products, having great products, and people will figure out how to buy it as long as you make it somewhat easy for them to add it to cart and check out.
Yeah. The only thing that you need to add is the hook.
Hook. Absolutely.
Okay.
Which we talked about on your webinar last week.
Yes, we did. All right, Kelsey.
This comment is a bit more about the agency aspect side of things. So Marsha's saying, I'm always curious if there's any sort of guarantee before agencies take the cash. As a manufacturer, I have a guarantee. So I am always interested in that. Some do, so be sure to ask.
Hi, Marcia. I know Marcia. We used to have guarantees, but we don't anymore. And the reason is and you've seen these a lot, especially in courses and training, platforms where they'll guarantee the classic is like, if you don't get your investment back in 90 days, we'll continue working with you until you do. We took those out because we really want to, with our training program, we really want to make people understand that it's on them to do the work. And if they follow the instructions and do the work and iterate and try again, we're going to get them success. And we don't want to cheapen ourselves by guaranteeing that. And, it comes off as a little like, salesy. From an agency perspective, there's this, I would love to be so confident that I could be like, I'm going to take any business no matter what, and we're going to grow you to this amount. There's just too many variables to be able to do that. And the risk,
You're 100%.
right? Like you just cannot guarantee anything in that business. And I wish we could.
And if you do see a company that does that, in my opinion, run.
I was going to say, it's a bit of a red flag.
Yeah.
Especially an agency where they're doing all the work for you.
Yeah, like I said before, you don't know. You could be doing all the work. You don't know who the person behind the scenes is doing the work. You could get it transferred over to another person, but it just could be a product issue. People might not want your product.
Product issue. Or they bought a whole bunch of fake followers on Instagram, which destroyed their, their credibility. And all of a sudden your CPMs are $100 plus. Like, you just can't do it. And you're like, well, I didn't know that going into this. So how can I guarantee that?
I don't think but I think Simon, I think Scott knows my partner over in Honu. So people have asked, why aren't we doing sourcing anymore? We'll do it for product innovation, but we don't usually take on clients because we'd give the person the ability to go and talk to the manufacturer, but we would prefer to do it. And that got the person's nose out of joint because they want to deal directly. Well, after having about 25 or 30 suppliers no longer want to deal with us because they were in communication wrong with the seller, which ruined our relationship. We know for a new seller, they might want to handle things a certain way, but they don't know how to communicate or the culture in China or in other parts of the world, which hopefully we do. And we also know what to look for, good, bad, and ugly, what sells, what doesn't sell. And when you give that to somebody else to do, first of all, you burn a relationship. Second of all, we're hoping that we're going to make some money off of a product that we're sourcing. And if nobody buys it, because you can't, it's just a below average product, you might as well get out of the business, which we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have the same problem with web developers. So we're not a web dev agency. If you know any really good ones, let me know. But
I'm in that business.
Are you? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, wow. All right. Good to know. But we have Norm, I have a hard time, a lot of times people want us to white label services and do that. And again, this is kind of related to the guarantee, but it's like, if you're not responsible for it and accountable for it, you can, like you said, burn relationships by sending someone somewhere that they shouldn't be, or even trying to middleman for a web dev agency or whatever else that work is happening. Like, yeah.
Okay, next question.
All right, the last comment here is from Simon. Simon saying, high growth comes with pain, more inventory, more storage, more staff, more and more and more. So any final thoughts on that?
Mo money, mo problems. Yeah. But they're good problems to have, right? So, I mean, and honestly too, like, maybe this is just my philosophy, but I find if you're not growing, you're dying. That might sound harsh, but like, yeah, you can definitely be comfortable at a level, but like, unless I'm putting my foot on the gas and trying to grow this thing bigger and bigger and bigger, especially when you're at a David level at the beginning there, like you need to get to a point where it's significant. Right. And there are definitely strategies, and I'm sure Norm can teach you on, like, you know, I have a good partner who does inventory management and projections, all that stuff, you know, storage, staff, that raises your overhead. So as your revenue goes up, your expenses go with it. You know, they're fun problems too. Like over the years, even running our agency, like I've come so far in terms of, you know, 8 years ago, if you said, if you asked me what my company values were, my core values, I would have laughed at you and said that doesn't matter. Right now we have a very solid defined core value set, which we use to, you know, hire good people. And when you can hire really good people, it's not a problem after the first 60, 90 days. They become a solution, and more people are better, and they're actually helping and earning you more money. So there's probably a topic for a whole other podcast, but you know, those kind of problems are fun to solve.
Right. And by the way, Simon is one of these guys, as you can tell, like during most of our podcasts, when he's listening, he's either very sarcastic or has incredible questions. And you can catch him. I noticed that he's in our WhatsApp group answering and asking questions all the time. So not a selfish plug, but if you want to check out some really great conversations, Simon's one of those main contributors in the group. So thank you, Simon. And I do owe you a beer when I get to see you next. So I think that's probably it. If you are interested in the Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, you get an entry, or just hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. And Kelsey, if we could go to our last sponsor, and then we'll come up to the wheel. Facing cash flow challenges with your e-commerce business? Discover Viably, your ultimate financial ally. From real-time sales data integrations to immediate funding access, Viably is here to support you. Plan your growth with their free tool for online sellers and engage with specialists whenever you need. Extend your cash flow with Viably. All right, we're back. Now let's go over to the wheel.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Look at there. Lots of people want that 1-hour consultation with you, Simon.
Oh, cool. Wow, that song, by the way, too. Did you guys produce that?
Yeah, it goes pretty hard.
Yep, that's my other son.
That slaps.
All right. Well, let's see. We're going to shuffle these up. We do this every episode too, so make sure you come back for the next one. Let's see who the winner is.
Tom.
AMZ Elites.
All right.
All right. So if you could email me, kate@lunchwithnorm.com, we'll set you up with Simon here.
Yeah, I think Tom's going to be at BDSS, I think. Okay. Let's see. Simon, contact information.
What do you want? My email?
Wherever you want people to go.
Okay. Yeah. So merchantmastery.io. That's our coaching and mentorship program. If you want to talk more agency level stuff, like I said, we take on clients that are, you know, doing great, probably minimum about, I don't know, $30,000 a month in sales, like for this to make sense, for it to be viable. Socialite.ca, good old Canadian domain. And those places you can get a hold of me directly.
All right. Fantastic. All right, Simon, thank you for coming on today. Say hi to Scott for me, and we will see you later.
Thank you, guys. Will do.
All right. So, Kels, come on back.
Alrighty. Well, it looks like AMZ Elite is going to be at BDSS, so we'll be seeing him in a few days. And yeah, awesome. So thanks everyone for watching. We did send out our newsletter just a few hours ago, so make sure you check that out. Let us know what you think of it. And yeah, also let us know if you're going to be over in Hawaii for BDSS. We'd love to connect. And yeah, it's coming up in just a few days.
All right. And don't forget to check out the Marketing Misfits podcast on Apple, or you can go right over to our YouTube channel. We'll be posting a lot more content over the year, but right now it's just the podcast and the last AI webinar. Let me see. I think that's it. We're going to be heading out soon, like Kelsey said, to BDSS. If you're coming, we look forward to meeting you over there. And until Wednesday, we will see you later. Have a great day.
Entrepreneur.